Hey, Russ Johns here. Join us for a little R&R. Russ Johns and Ronald Earl Wilsher venture down a path untapped, unleashed, and we want to make sure that you have all the information you need to move forward in your online world or inline, positive, professional messages. We have a lot to share. We want to welcome you to the show and make sure that you share us, track us down on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, and search us out on Google. RussJohns.com and RonaldEarlWilsher.com. Enjoy the day, folks.
We're rolling.
Rolling on the river.
Ronald Earl Wilsher.
Hey, Mr.
Hey, what's your name?
RussJohns.com.
What's your name, RonaldWilsher.com?
Well, do you want that or the other 11 versions I have registered?
I have to believe that you have. We can't unload that all on this first show, right?
Okay.
We have to stretch that out a couple episodes. Hey, we're here. We're going to entertain ourselves here today in this podcast and to share a few things about branding for humans. We have on the podcast today, we have Ronald Earl Wilsher. Tell us a little bit about Ronald Earl Wilsher and what you're here to do today.
Well, Mr. RussJohns.com, appreciate you inviting me. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've got a lot of requests for people to, to record the miscellaneous ramblings in my head, and I can think of no better person that I'd like to do it with than you.
Stream of consciousness.
Stream of consciousness. That's a big word. Try not to use those big words around me. It kind of messes me up.
We get fined $10 for every time we use them.
So basically what I saw when you call, we've been talking about this for a while, is just to have some conversations about things that we do in our business that not only work, and work for me and you, but they'll work for other people if they'll do them. And as a lot of people know, I subscribe to the simple theory. Simple and fun is better than complicated and boring.
So KISS, keep it super simple?
Keep it super simple, or keep it simple, sweetie.
Yep.
And so,
there's other variations.
Other variations, right? But I always say simplicity. Genius is the ability to make the complicated simple. And so I constantly, as you know, Russ, I try to refine and simplify everything I do, because if you can simplify people's life, they'll give you money. So
our whole goal in this podcast, for those that are tuned in, it's a concept that we're going to simplify some of the things that we've done online, in life, conversations that we've started, things that we've grown on, things that you're further ahead than I am, and I'm going to go through the exercise of building this up. I'm working on this podcast. We're working on this together, and we're going to build this up. There's a lot of things that we're going to do. We're going to explore some of the things that you've already accomplished and done and review those so others can listen to this podcast and learn from it, understand the mechanics of what it takes to get from point A to point B. And then it's just a matter of going out and doing it. It's a simple equation.
Right. And, Russ, I tell people I do the things I do for a couple of reasons. Number one, because I do it for me. But I also do it as an example to you. Because, I have a lot of people come up to me all the time and say, Ronnie, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. I'm like, no, you would suck as me, okay? What you need to do is develop the courage to be who you are and become your own competitive advantage. Nobody's ever seen the world through your eyes.
And that's one of the things that we want to explore in this podcast is, like we were talking before the show, is the idea everybody has a concept of what they are and what they're doing today. And both of us have gone through this change, this metamorphosis of doing something else, and then all of a sudden one day you're thinking, I'm not willing to do that anymore. I'm willing to give everything up and change what I'm doing today to do something different tomorrow. And also, to add to that, we're both, I think, of the mindset, and my experience with you has been the same, is I like helping people. I like providing value. I like providing interesting topics and subjects, and I'm a little ADD and in technology and shiny objects, and so all of these things that we can kind of do a brain dump on and deliver it in a podcast format allows us to share that, kind of articulate and archive it and get it out there in the world. So listen in, continue to pay attention to what we're doing because it's important, valuable stuff that's helped a lot of people. And you've helped, thousands of people.
Well, I think when you go out and develop the courage to be who you are, Russ, like I say, you're not only helping yourself, you are helping other people because you're an example. See, I'm living proof of somebody that I don't consider myself a salesperson. I don't consider myself to be anything special over anybody else other than I really don't care about what other people think about me because that's, as the old saying goes, that's none of my business. What's important is what I think about me. I have a note to self that says it doesn't really matter what people call you. What's important is what you answer to. See, I'll never have a higher opinion of you than you have of yourself.
Well, if you don't have a high opinion of yourself, who else is going to care?
And how can you expect other people to have a high opinion of you?
No.
If you don't think you're good, how do you expect me to think you're good?
Yeah,
see?
Exactly.
And so I've studied a lot of high achievers. And if you go and study high achievers, I don't care if it's in industry, if it's in sports, if it's in wherever it's at, all the high achievers, they have a very high level of self-confidence. See?
And they've acquired that self-confidence through learning, study, doing, actually experiencing what it is they do, right?
Right. And that's how you learn. You constantly, I always say, you can correct something, you can't correct nothing.
So showing up is important.
Showing up and being honest is 90% of the equation.
Yeah.
Because most people don't even show up.
Yeah. And that's one of the things we really want to expand on is the positive nature of showing up and what it is you can do during the course of a week, a month, a year. People always underestimate what they can actually accomplish.
Amen.
So one of the things that we want to make sure that we focus in on this podcast to make sure that the target audience is good is the idea. There's online activities. There's some, we're going to be talking about, how to brand yourself. Branding for humans is the topic. And there's a lot of things that we can expand off of that. The technology that it takes, the time that it takes, the results that you can anticipate or expect, what's real and what's imagined. Some of these things that we really want to expand on for the people that want to pay attention and listen and follow on this
Russ,
podcast. I'm
really, really excited about doing this with you. I always say success leaves clues for people that choose to pay attention. See?
And it's always interesting because opportunity doesn't always look like, sometimes it looks like work.
Right. Or, well, I always tell people, my dad told me one time, he said, son, the only way you're going to make it in this life is get up early before the sun comes up and work hard. Yeah. And all I remember telling him was, Dad, I hope you don't have a lot of high hopes for me. And, but think about it. Why did he say that? Because for 41 years, he got up at 4:45 every morning. He worked in the oil field, and that's just how you did it.
Yeah.
But how many people think that now? Do you think working hard will get you somewhere?
Well, let me ask you a different question that ends up in the same result. How many people really truly believe that they're secure working for the same organization or industry for 30 years and they're going to get the gold watch at the end of the cycle? More and more nowadays, the millennials, the kids coming out of high school, college right now, they have no interest in working for, punching a clock for 30 years to win the gold watch.
Well, that's an option's not even there, Russ, anymore.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point is that mindset that your father established early when you were young.
No longer is an option.
No longer is an option
right.
for us. I mean, I remember going to work with my dad when I was 11 years old. You can't do that these days. I mean, there's a lot of things that are changing, and change is going to take place. And so having the flexibility in your own mind to be able to say, wow, I'm going to be able to do something different. I'm going to be able to modify what I'm imagining, learn something new, and move forward is key to what we're doing right now.
Well, and like we said, it all starts with your mindset. And I always say about success is merely an illusion blindly pursued by the ill-informed. There is no such thing as success.
There's no
I'm security. Sorry.
Yeah.
Success, and did I say success or?
You said
security
success.
is merely an illusion blindly pursued by the ill-informed. Success to me is being able to spend your time ever how you want to. See?
I love my work, and I really have a hard time calling it work because the historical association with work
and what you think about it,
and what you think about it is completely different.
Right.
Because I love what I do, and I'm very truly fortunate, and I'm excited about doing this whole series with you and evolving this podcast. I mean, we're excited about some of the subjects we're going to be talking about, and we want to expand on that. So we want listeners to learn and understand what we're doing and pay attention and give us feedback. Where can they find you?
Me, they can find. Well, most important is where they can find you, RussJohns.com.
RussJohns.com.
Because if they find you, then that's probably much the top of the hill. It's all downhill after that.
Man.
Me, they can go to. I met this girl one time, and we were talking, and she goes, "Google is your friend."
Google.
I'm like, so Google my name.
Friend.
But no, you can go to RonaldWilsher.com and join my Way Cool Friends list.
Yep.
I send out an email about once a week with cool stuff in it, and we have a lot of fun with it. And
I've received it for a while now. So
yeah, well, it's something we're going to be talking about in these podcasts. The importance of developing an email list. It's not a database. That's boring. Mine's called my Way Cool Friends list, and you do have to be way cool to be on it. And it is my list, so I get to make the final determination.
Yep.
But we have a lot of fun.
Well, we're going to take a little pause here and shift gears and come back, and we're going to be talking about the first 5 steps that you need to achieve in order to become somebody that can have a conversation online in public and generate some enthusiasm about what you're doing. Get involved, make a difference, and make an impact.
Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it. It's awesome.
Hey, thanks for taking a break with us. We're going to be right back with great information that we can share with you. Thank you so much for being here today. We're really excited about what we're doing, and we want to share this information with you. And keep it super simple. Please track us down on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, search us out on the Googleator, and let us know what we can do to help you enjoy your day.
Hey folks, we're back, and we want to thank you for being here. And we're here with Ronald Earl Wilsher, RussJohns.com. And the whole focus of our the attention and the reason that we're producing this podcast for friends and family and people that we don't even know yet is to explain some of the things you can do to start a conversation that allows you to get involved and engage with other people. I mean, nothing happens. If you hold up a dollar bill and it's just a single dollar bill, if you don't do anything with it, nothing happens. It's worthless. It's completely worthless.
You have to go spend it or invest it or
yeah. And something needs to happen in order for you to accomplish that. So we're going to be talking about how you can start your conversation with registering and securing your personal domain. You need to get an email list put together. Start an email list. Make sure that you're getting things put in place. And once you start a conversation, you need to follow up with the conversation. Continue it. To continue to add value and increase the conversation.
Keep your name and face in front of people.
Keep your name and face in front of people. Absolutely. Be visible. Make an impact on what they're doing in their lives. It doesn't doesn't mean you're going to ask for anything out of it. It means you're going to be delivering something that's going to be informative, educational, helpful.
Add some value.
Add some value. And then join the focus that we're going to spend a lot of time on is, our personal goals and some of the things that we've discovered along the way of our journeys is also join the social media revolution. And what we mean by that, and the social media can mean a lot of things to different people.
Absolutely.
And what it does is allows us to break things out into actionable items, specific steps that you can take in order to increase the conversation with others and have that dialogue that is going to build deeper relationships, increase the visibility that you have, the authority you need, and the credibility that you
expert status.
Expert status. And speaking of experts, we want to make sure that we explain that if you're not exactly where you need to be or you need some assistance, you need to hire an expert. There are experts that can assist you along your journey and discovering what that needs to be. It could be like myself, putting together, assisting you with a podcast, generating some, you do a great job of doing the
custom landing pages.
The custom landing pages.
Right.
And not, it's more than custom landing pages. It's actually generating the links in a specific way that allows people to get a hold of you.
Well, I call it Russ, an online platform. Okay. And I always say, you can enhance your learning curve by leveraging the experience of others, right? Yeah. It's okay to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, but if you're smart, you make your own mistakes. Don't make mistakes that other people have made.
Or attempt to, whenever you're possible, to learn from other people's mistakes.
That's what I'm saying. Don't make their mistakes. Make your own, right? Because
I can own my own mistakes.
Right.
Yeah, I don't need to make your mistakes.
So, and I tell people when I jumped out of an airplane one time.
A perfectly good one?
Yeah, and it was really fun. 14,000 square feet. 14,000 feet up. And but think about it. I would have never done that without a little assistance from an expert.
Right.
Right? So if you understand, and we're going to be talking about this in these podcasts, is we want to simplify everything. As people that know me, and I know you, Russ, simple and fun is better than complicated and boring. So what you do is you simplify everything you can. I call it kindergarten clear.
Yeah.
And so if you do that, if you simplify somebody's life, they're going to give you money.
Wasn't it Einstein that said it, until you can actually explain it in the most simple terms, you really don't know the subject?
Right. And so that's what I try to do, refine, simplify, refine, simplify. I'll give you a real quick example. My dad, for years and years and years, used to keep mileage in his car when he changed his oil. He had this little book in the glove box, as they called it back then.
Yep.
And he would write down the mileage every time he changed the oil. Well, I did that for probably 10, 12, 15 years.
Yep.
And one day it dawned on me, I have never used that information that I'd been collecting.
You documented something that you'll never use.
But I was just doing it because my dad did it.
Yeah.
And it dawned on me I never used it, so I never did it again.
Well, habits can be learned, and habits need to be unlearned at times, right?
Amen.
And so that's one of the things we're going to be talking about and discussing in detail. And then also, one of the things you have down here in the 5 steps that we're going to be focusing on initially is becoming a public speaker. Now, not everybody is interested in becoming a public speaker. There's a lot of power and authority and credibility by speaking as a result of being a speaker. And I enjoy doing that myself. And you can, track me down and get me
RussJohns.com.
Get me out in public. And you've been a speaker many times.
Yeah, I've done it for about probably 5 or 6 years. And when I say become a public speaker, do you know when you stand up at your work or if you're in a networking group, you're a public speaker. Every time you open your mouth in public, you're a public speaker,
right.
Whether you're talking to one person or you're talking to 1,000 people. But there's very little that I know of that you can, after you register your name, set you up a landing page, start you an email list, after that, become a public speaker. There's very little you can do to enhance your expert status and increase your attraction power than becoming a public speaker. And it's a lot of fun. It's very, very powerful, and we'll kind of go into the steps.
Yeah, and I just think it's important for people to understand, and don't get turned off by the fact that we're talking about this. Be motivated by the idea that you can frame it in different ways to allow yourself to be a speaker without thinking that it's bigger than what it is.
Right, because there's really, and I always tell people, two things must be present before I get involved, and I think I mentioned one of them earlier. One, it must be very simple, kindergarten clear.
Yeah.
Two, it must be fun.
Okay.
Because if it's not fun, I'm not going to mess with it. Because as you know, Russ, we only have one chance at today.
Yeah.
And
this isn't a practice session.
This is not a dress rehearsal,
no,
right?
This is
life. Real life,
yeah.
Right? And so, but I say you only get one chance at today, but that's enough if you do it right.
Absolutely.
And so what you want to do is, this is around the first of the year, and we've talked to several people about this, people about their New Year resolutions.
Yeah.
And so I put out in my email, I don't make New Year's resolutions. I do make morning, dear God, I'm thankful to be alive this morning, and breathing resolutions.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, right, for letting me breathe, right?
Right.
But I think, so you only get, what do they say about the future? The best thing about the future, it only happens one day at a time.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the mistakes people make is they regret their past too much, or they fret over their future too much. When really, and I'm not against goals. I'm not against looking to the future. You must have a vision. But I think one of the keys, people ask me a lot, Ronnie, nothing ever bothers you. You're always just like so happy and nothing ever bothers you. I think the fact that nothing bothers me bothers a lot of people, you know.
But not being bothered is a choice, too.
It's my choice, right?
It's a choice.
And so what we want to try to expand on in these podcasts is how you can take what you're good at, which is being you, and you can show the world through your eyes, and you can live it. And see, like I say, I'm a living example of what I teach and what I don't want to say preach, but... Well,
it's transparent.
Right.
You are who you are, and that's exactly who you need to be at this time. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Preach
10 years from now, you might be somebody different.
Well, hopefully I'll evolve.
Yeah.
What's that word, evolve?
Yeah, their evolution. And we want to thank you for being here today on the podcast, and we're going to continue to build and grow on this information and expand your horizons and your visibility and what you're doing in life, making yourself happy, making a choice when you get up, saying this is going to be a good day.
Hey, thanks for joining us for another episode of R&R with Ronald, Earl, Wilsher, and Russ Johns. We're here to help you work through the maze of the online world. Entertain, educate with a productive, positive message. Thanks for joining us, and track us down on Twitter, follow us on Facebook. Take care and have a great day.